Hello, everyone. My name is Sneaky Teak. His name is Rhapsody, and this is Rhaps and Teak Take a Peek for another week. This week with Nadir, which I'll tell you about soon. Rhapsody, how you doing, boss?
Extremely well in yourself.
I would say that I'm also doing extremely well, eerily similar to how you are doing. Almost exactly the same.
It's weird, like, right? Because there's a performance of personality, and obviously you have to be on in situations and blah blah blah, right? And I feel like ultimately what ends up happening is that streamers and content creators just effectively move the breadth of emotions that they are currently feeling just up across the board. So if someone asks like, "How are you doing?" and a streamer goes, "Yeah, good," like
they're doing awful.
Oh my
it's
god!
The worst day.
But I'm actually just ecstatic. A couple days ago, Peak and I went on a very nice date to the Chinese Garden of Friendship here in Sydney.
Nice.
Which had 211 different like theater lights used to illuminate this serene garden in the center of the CBD.
Oh wow. The CBD?
The Central Business District.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what that stands for.
So we were sitting down to have a banquet as well in this environment. It was just very lovely. And then 4 violinists, I didn't know about this, like I'd planned out the entire thing, but 4 violinists just came out and started playing like a bunch of really kind of
like near you or on a stage?
Classical. They were near-ish us. They were effectively, there was like a central I guess you might call it pagoda, that was in the middle of this giant pond that they were occupying in the round.
Violinist walked out into the audience, stood next to you directly, and started serenading you both. And I was like, this sounds like something that will get really misunderstood really quickly. Like, this is a super elaborate proposal if I've ever heard of one.
we both made the joke of like,
that's funny.
If this is a proposal, no. It's like this isn't the way we do this. We agreed, right? And both of us just like,
not like this.
This is a lovely dinner, is what it is. But they came out and they started playing these kind of like very mood enhancing kind of just classical songs. And I almost cried in the restaurant. It was just too nice of vision and the unexpected nature of the music. I've just been on high ever since.
Well, I meant what I said. I'm also feeling that I was mostly joking about, yes, me also, I'll have what he's having. Because truthfully, most of my dates recently have been to the tile shop. I've only been doing bathroom renovation things for like months. I live in a bathroom now. But I actually am in a very good mood. It's a good day. I started playing the Outer Wilds DLC quite late with a friend of mine. They also gifted me Elden Ring, which I'm going to play soon. There's like also, Junior got to go on walks and everything's coming up tiki, basically. But I'm jealous of this CBD experience that you had. That sounds really nice.
It was an incredibly good time. It looks like the trajectory of our days will only continue to increase as we are diving here into Nadir.
Higher up.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, please. According to the Steam description, the blurb, Nadir is a roguelike adventure influenced by Dante's Divine Comedy. Face powerful demons, build your deck, and progress the 7 deadly sins as they cut their way through hell. But there's a catch. Wait, it gets worse. You must plan both your and your enemy's moves, for every action that you take feeds your opponent. Nadir, a roguelike deck builder. In hell.
In hell?
Our home.
I'm here hoping that the game is going to still treat me as though I am in my first run and give me the tutorial tooltips, though we did have to quickly load in to check what was
Make sure the audio is good. I do really like, having been a little bit spoiled by that load, the art style is really nice to me. I quite like it. It's kind of pop art almost, while still having that grim dark kind of look to it. It's cool.
Yeah, it's like it's a weird logical intersection of like effectively like linoleum cutting chiaroscuro, like hard light and dark kind of stuff, and also the segmentation of it and the hyper detail of it is almost like Terry Gilliam a little bit. Like if you look at like the artist for Monty Python.
Okay, yep, I see. Yeah, no, I see exactly what you mean. And the little legs, actually, yes.
I'm excited.
Their legs are bigger than the Astronarch people, so, you know, we've gotten a little more swole since the beginning of the series.
Yeah, more than a single pixel down. Here we have Jin, who has 50 HP, strength 5, armor 20, and a crit chance of 5%. They are the Sin of Pride. Jeanne d'Arc, so Joan of Arc, the Liberator, Hero, Saint, and Heretic. A symbol of faith and virtue, betrayed by her fellow Christians, and damned for an eternity in hell. Later sainthood could not change her faith. The deed was done. Her fate decided.
Her starting deck is, as you can see, lots of black and white cards, which I will say, this will make it difficult to decipher between the cards. It's a downside of the design choice. When you have a lot of colors, it makes it easier to differentiate, but the cohesion could be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. We'll see.
Oh dear, I think it is not going to give us tooltips. Oh, no it is. Would you like to
It's a tough fight, but I still have an ace up my sleeve, says Joan of Arc, whose voice sounds like this. Let's choose one card.
We have Bash for 5 damage, or we have Slash for 5 damage. Would you like to B or SL?
I guess I'll be first. Is one of these theirs and one of these is ours? Because we have to control our enemies' cards too. I must aim at... Oh! We are getting a tutorial. Check it out. Blue Energy Bash has to do damage to Bluestone card. By the way, look at this. This is what I was saying during our setup. Do you see your cursor? That's so intense.
Yes.
It's a vertebra that comes out of the card. Like, that's so visceral in a very literal sense.
Oh.
Yep, that's gonna be a surgery right there. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yep.
It's a couple slip discs.
All right, straight to the top.
So we have to aim it to the stone of the same color as the card to use it. What are they influencing here? Do they have an extra kicker effect?
I think that I worry that what's happening is we're telling the enemy what their attack is. Like, we attack into the 4 damage and then they do 4 damage. Try it. Let's see if we get retaliatory damage here. Okay, nope. Oh wait, no. It says, ugh, that hurt. Each time I play a card, the enemy will react. I must plan my moves to be prepared for the enemy's counterattacks. Let's play another card. So it says, ugh, that hurts, but we didn't take damage. Maybe it just hasn't resolved yet.
Maybe, or maybe we had some sort of shielding already active in order to prevent that from actually being a negative thing for us. So it looks like they'll deal 6 damage to us if we do that. We'll deal 5. They'll get 1 rage, I think.
I think so.
Should we give them that?
Which will cause them. Yeah, because we're gonna kill them soon. Let's try that and see if we do in fact take the 4 damage.
We also have a new line here.
Oh, blue color Why have I done this? Blue color represents Sacrum and red Profanum. Some cards will need more than 1 Sacrum or Profanum stones to be used. Okay, cool. Rage it up. I can always redraw my hand if I run out of options.
And the turn. So they do have their own individual turns, not just responses to us.
But is this turn the turn that we decided? It looks like it, because the damage was... No, but we took 14. So maybe...
No, I think
that's what it is.
They got the rage afterwards, right?
Yeah, I think that's what that is. They might have like some set minimum thing that they do, but I think during their turn they get attacks chosen by your attack selections.
Right.
Which means that finishing the fight is the best thing that you can do, right?
Yes.
Because then they don't get a turn. Okay.
It's the effective perma-stun. So
yep.
This will be 5 and 5, which I imagine they're trying to demonstrate to us here.
And they're done. GG. And it looks like we took all of our damage into some kind of armor or something. Do you want to read the tutorial text since I get to be Joan of Arc?
Sure. This seems like it's just really getting a lot of what we've seen. So you were just dealt 5 cards to your hand. They're in 2 colors, representing Sacrum and Energy. The steels at the very top of the screen represent how much you can use. So they're effectively your mana pool. When you play a Sacrum card, the first Sacrum steel will turn around and change itself to Profanum. So they invert themselves as a result. Thus playing cards changes. So there's like a semi-balancing kind of act going on there.
You're forced to use both. Okay.
Now it will start the enemy's turn, who will play the actions written on the visible sides of the Sacrum Profanum. So actually what they're doing is the ones we don't choose.
Oh, okay. That's why, because I was like,
Yeah.
they used 3 moves. They had rage, and their total damage dealt was actually like 16. It wasn't the 4 that I expected. And so, okay, whatever's left at the end is their turn. That's a really fascinating system. So you're not just attacking the enemy, you're also attacking their options. That's a really cool, like metaphorically, I think that's cool. It's a very much a counter system.
Gives us 300 obols, 600 experience, and 1 cards.
There's something funny about the fact that experience just exists in every game. Like, we have obols for money because it's hell, but you still have experience.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It doesn't really matter.
You can't transcend it. Like, I think so many things have tried and failed to do so. And then there are other games that have tried and used it as a mechanic, like, you know, determination being, you know,
right.
What did you think your level was? Your level of violence.
And that was a clever subversion. Yeah.
But the fact is, you can only do that kind of clever subversion because other subversions of it all have historically not been that great. None of them stuck around.
Yeah. It's a good point. This game is so dark.
We have reflexes over
reflexes, abuse, and backstab. Go ahead,
I'm sorry. Tooltips off the screen, but characters with the blur increases something dodge chance to 50% for something next to attack. So for each stack of blur, have at least 50% dodge chance for the next attack. It can stack, but each received stack, successful or not, reduces the stack by 1. So received attack, successful or not.
Okay.
We have.
By the way, this is a demo. I don't think I mentioned that in the beginning. This game is still before pre-full release. There's really only 2 types of games right now, right? The game that you already bought and the game that you haven't bought yet. So anyway, this is a game that we are allowed to play without having bought it yet. That's the phase it's in.
Yes. So it may not necessarily be representative of the end game's final polish product. Polish. I used to have like a specific thing that I would say, like polish content offerings,
it's kind of
something.
legal text.
Yeah,
right.
I had Pataphor. You know the general realm I am speaking in here. Abuse.
You understand what we mean.
All damage dealt by character with weak is just decreased flat by the status value, and after it's resolved, weak is decreased. And then backstabbing, piercing damage, star indicates piercing damage. Cool. What do we want?
I kind of want to take blur.
Let's do it.
What does revert mean is part of why I want to do that. I don't know what revert means. And also, like, 50% dodge chance is kind of cool, and it's novel.
So revert shuffles the sacrum and profanum steals at random.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll see how we feel about that soon.
I mean, doing
Maybe
that,
it'll feel
like,
good.
you see a board of bad things, do that, reset them, and then try and deal with the rest of it. I could totally see that. Also,
right.
We have an inbuilt armor mechanic, it looks like. Toss a coin to your humble servant, asks the beggar.
Yeah, and I like this. It's kind of, I talk a lot about acceptable losses in tactics games, both in tactics and strategy RPGs, right? Grid tactics, and in tactical decision-making turn-based games like a roguelike deck builder. Games that don't have a concept of acceptable losses end up warping the game dynamic to one of like pure min-maxing, and they often really encourage, you know, save scumming and these types of kind of ad nauseum play that take a lot longer and reduce the pace. And so I like when the game says you're gonna take some damage, you're allowed to take some damage, here's how much damage you're allowed to take, or here's the amount of characters you're allowed to lose, they'll come back but with injuries. That's a good mechanic to have in your game, in my opinion.
Extremely agreed. A lot of the time when I'm like interrogating a game at first, I am thinking, okay, how stringent is this game going to be so I can plan around it and effectively not min-max too much. Feint gives us the ability to pick up a counter, so I'm just going to read the new keywords when they come up. A character with a counter attacks back when hit with an attack card. Damage from counter equals half of the incoming damage. Can stack, but for each received attack, successful or not, reduces itself. So,
cool.
I think we can easily play out all of these cards and probably kill them before they do anything, right? If we double Fate, that's 5 damage, 5 damage, 5 damage from the slash, so they'll all be red steals. We just play them out.
So what's our limit and how much we can play? Oh, why do we have 4 cards instead of 5? Aren't we dealt 5?
Limit. I don't know why we have a different hand size now than we did last time.
Yeah, it's weird. Maybe because Feint counts as 2. Maybe that's what that's the number of draw slots, isn't it? The 2 doesn't mean 2 energy, it means 2 draws on Feint.
2 draws.
As in it represents 2 card draws.
Oh, so your hand is always comprised of, 5 mana.
5.
Right? So it is your amount in hand, but it's comprised by 2 different vectors of it. Cool. Don't think we should just donk
Let's
this
start,
nerd.
slamming some hits, exactly. So it flipped 2 steals because it cost 2 steals. And then do we want to reflex right now? Because then maybe we might want to choose one to flip?
Absolutely.
I don't know. It's kind of an interesting system, right?
Can't slash now.
Well, it did say random, so I guess, yeah, that can happen.
Yep.
Well, the good news is their total damage output is very low here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Armor, damage, armor.
They, in fact, take some damage back.
What a neat system. What I'm interested in is, like, do we get to see, is there determinism in what it changes to in terms of, like, what the different move is? There's a little arrow. What does that mean?
So I think that is the person to whom the effect will be applied. They will gain 2 armor,
Oh,
they will
okay,
gain 2
okay.
armor, we will take 4 damage.
Okay, I see. I think you're right. That makes sense to me.
So we can gain counter on that. Honestly, we might put ourselves in a position where we try and gain a bunch of counter and then let them attack us.
Yeah. Yeah, no lie. That might be more effective and more consistent, right? At the end of the day, if we can get through a turn without taking any damage. We should change that weak, though.
Yes.
I don't think we want to be weakened.
One thing that just happened to us that's worth noting as well is using a 2-cost card. You can select the first one that you're using, and then the second one got chosen at random. We had 3 blues that we could have chosen from. I selected the first, and then the second got chosen.
Okay. So there's a double cost to the 2-cost card.
Mm-hmm.
Element of non-determinism, but there's only 3 enemy attacks to play around ultimately, so. All right.
Riposte them, allowing them to hopefully attack us.
Ooh.
Beautiful.
Oh,
so
but how much? We have quite a lot of. Yeah, we could actually take 10 damage, no problem, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Hang on.
Right. Do we want rage or to do one more hit? Exactly.
Perhaps
We should probably just hit.
We should hit.
I mean, like, we want a counter, but at the same time.
So this did revert back to 2 armor. So it looks like this steal is consistently 2 armor, 6 damage, at least in this combat.
Right, right. And that would kind of make sense. If it was just randomizing, that reduces the tactical component. If enemies have a set number of moves and you're kind of having to decide which to flip, then yeah, that would make sense to me.
Absolutely. And set them up to counter on that as well. Perfect. So we've got 3 counters for their next 3 attacks, and they're going to hit us 1 time, 2 time, and then die. But even if they didn't, we would take all of that damage. Crushing blow if we wanted to, but
No, you did this.
I don't want to have to take responsibility for this. Someone else clean up.
I'm really digging the art in this game.
It is great.
It's fun. It's dynamic.
Ooh. We've seen all of these before except for poison. A character with the poison will lose HP equal to the poison number, then poison's decreased by 1, as you may expect.
What's interesting is that I'm beginning to worry about having too many 2-cost cards.
Yeah.
Just because of how, having more 1-cost cards, those are much easier to navigate turns, and you can more effectively play them all out, whereas, as we saw, we can kind of back ourselves into a corner with some of the 2 costs. And some of the random flips. But that being said, poison tends to be pretty exciting in games. Although it hasn't seemed difficult to deal 20 or 30 damage, right?
I imagine it's possible that the poison might go under armor because it says lose HP. So one thing we have had a little difficulty with is getting through the armor initially to start dealing damage.
True. Well, you want to play around with adding some poison to the deck? I don't mind some more damage.
I'm totally behind it, especially because when I see a new keyword, I'm like, how much are you going to support this? Let me see.
My thinking is, when you're playing a new game, you're better served taking a lot of cards before trying to stay really thin, because you want to play around them and see how they feel, right? So if you end up figuring out that the best card is no cards, just play with the starter deck, then that's a great thing to decide. But you got to figure that out through practice, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, nice. There's some kind of just maximizing your turn requires a little bit of a puzzle to solve. Like we can't play the feint right away, so we got to make more blue, but then we need enough. Yeah. There's a little ordering.
You don't want to be weak, so we flip that back. And then we cut sinews to flip both of these. So they get 5 armor, make us weak, but we can remove the weak and gain a counter.
And flip something, it went left. Okay.
Ooh, they're on full offense against us.
Nice.
And taking poison damage too. Actually, I think they die next turn to their poison there.
Yeah, they're totally doomed. That enemy kind of looks like if you took the hair question mark, the flesh hair of the butler for Jabba the Hutt's palace, and then just made a whole unit out of it.
It is
Saka no Bibo.
You are a saintly avoidance of just invoking the fact that his head does look directly like a butt. Like you've it's a butt with tendrils.
But you see it. You see it.
Absolutely. Which actually makes this very like much their mouth. These would be the eyes.
Oh God.
I guess these are the corners of his beard.
That which is in shadow. And some goat hoofs down there.
Let's let you poison yourself to death.
It could be a fleshy molar. It could be a tooth, a flesh tooth. It's also possible.
That's what happens if you don't brush, kids.
New meaning to winning this fight by the skin of my teeth, right? Like, no, really, my teeth are living beings. They're fleshy organisms.
Teak.
What?
Teak, we've got to make punishment work.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, sure, yeah, let's, absolutely. Where is justice? Where is punishment? Or have you already answered? Yeah, 30 damage is a lot. Pick
extremely in our deck for both of them.
So what's going on with this mapping? Because I've been trying to figure out, is there branching? It's just we're going down the rings of Dante's Inferno, the 9 rings of.
Yes. That does appear to be how we're getting down here. It's looking like there's branching paths, but I think it might just be limited by the demo here or our first run that I'm specifically guided to certain ones.
Okay.
That's the one we guided to.
But it does look like there is choice, ultimately.
Yes. Ooh.
Is the gold melting in the hand? Welcome.
The gold?
Their heart and their other? Amazing.
Oh, yeah. So we just give them ovals and then they melt them into a mask. Hell yeah.
I guess so. That's pretty sweet. Also, this merchant was like, heart on my sleeve is not nearly honest enough. It's in my hand. Here, it's...
Here, I'm an honest merchant. And then like inside he has a secondary heart. This is just a prop heart. It's like...
Yeah. This is crossing my fingers. I've crossed my aorta to maximize this jape.
This is a Divine Intervention card, which I appear to have just bought by right-clicking, unfortunately, attempting to
It's ours now. Do I see time manipulation?
Did I buy it? Yeah, it is. Here we are. Draw 3 Holy Strikes to your hand, create 3 Holy Strike cards, and then add them to your hand. This will stay into your deck in the end of battle. They will stay into your deck into the end of battle. What's a Holy Strike card?
We're going to find out, that's for sure.
Hell yeah.
I'm cool with that. Time spin cost 80 and it just reverts. Oh, that's cute. That's cute tech.
I think we might like.
Do you want to play around with it and see if it's fun or? I kind of like cards like this because I look at it and I'm like, that's probably too cute to be worth it. So I want to buy it and see if it's too cute to be worth it.
Let's do it.
Because we're gonna have one fight where we revert and it saves us, and then we're gonna be geniuses. Having not been until that moment.
I think we might want to save a little bit of money here, possibly for whatever they show us is the next kind of shop available. Oh, okay, now I feel like I might have some branching paths here.
Okay.
I don't even know where
Combat,
I'm
combat.
located. If
I think we're in the green circle, and the blue circle is the selection. Those are the places.
Oh.
The blue beacons are where we can go next. This is a very confusing map system, but it is quite nice to look at.
Yes, so we can go across on this level. We can also go down to the next level or across again. Nearest is best. I would like not to walk that far.
Simplest. Oh God.
A hellhound. In unison they roar.
The head and the neck getting in the way of the tusks really is kind of a problem, isn't it? Come to think of it.
It's just... It feels wasteful because you're going to use those tusks to gore your food, and then how do you plan on eating them? Like...
Yeah.
Oh no, it just always... Whoa, it draws... Oh, so it read in the opposite order, but it creates them and then immediately draws them out. They're ghostly, so they disappear from your deck at the end of combat. They are burned, so they don't go to the discard pile. Instead, it will go back into your deck at the end of combat. So never mind. It's out of the deck after played. So it's neat. Easy extra damage.
Okay. But only easy if we manage our steals. Which is kind of reminding me of Roguebook. Like in that moment, instead of two characters, you've got the paternum and the maternum, the maternity and the paternity stones. Which was a fun game, by the way. It was overall. The farther I get from it, the more fondly I remember it.
Yeah, very occasionally I think about it like, I wonder if I could like go back and I wonder if the bugs that specifically drove me away at the time would be fixed. And I could just round it out.
It's gotten some updates, so maybe we'll see it again.
Breaking dealt is only applied to the armor. So we could remove their piercing with the Holy Strike here and then end the turn if we want to be safe. Or we could throw a time spin in for fun.
Well, yeah, but if we time spin, isn't going to flip back and just go back to piercing? Because we think they're just flipping back and forth, right? So this would be the turn to end, I think. It's the first time we've intentionally left a card on the table that we could have played, and that is strategy. Or maybe it's tactics. Regardless, it was cerebral.
It simplifies to thinking.
We did a think.
Cup Sinews is 4 cost by itself. We have the ability to block.
So I wonder something, which is it the same moves every turn? It looks like it. Those are the same we saw last turn, right?
I believe so.
If this goes back to breaking, breaking, damage, piercing, or it's at least within a short list.
They're going to have a lot of piercing attacks if I use the block, weirdly.
Which is kind of not... Is this where we time spin?
Yeah, but we still wouldn't be able to block afterwards for any... Because it will always still go back to the reds eventually.
Yeah. Well, and Blur will keep us from getting hit at all, so maybe the block is still worth, but then we can't time spin? Because then... Is it just the one pierce? Are all of the reds piercing attacks?
I believe this is also a piercing attack, and I think it might be 6 as well.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Do we have one dodge stack right now, right? Okay. Well, then maybe we just in turn again.
Unfortunately, that will affect this breaking rather than the piercing. But I think you are right.
So if we block...
50% chance to dodge these... Yeah, never mind. Let's try this. So they've got the 4 and then 5. We've got 2 stacks of block. Each of them is a 50% chance for dodge.
Right. So their maximum damage is 9. Their expected damage is like 4.5 or something. Which is better than it was.
Okay.
You can't just hit this attack too.
Yep.
You hit both attacks?
We live in the worst of all worlds. We actually kept the time spin from last turn as well. So the velocity of your hand appears to be also determined by playing.
Okay, so that's a downside of time spin, actually. A tech card is something that you don't want to be holding back your tempo, right? So choosing not to play the time spin is kind of like a double pain. That's interesting. Well, at least the fight is approaching its conclusion, but we've taken real health damage for the first time.
It's okay, we'll heal it.
For the last time.
Yes, don't want to turn that to the piercing, so we can give you... Oh, that'll turn... All of it turns to piercing.
The middle one is safe. The middle one is safe, isn't it?
The middle one is safe, but I also do want them to attack us. I guess they attack us with the breaking anyway. There we go.
Yeah.
Get your armor.
Gucci. Oh gosh, but if we time spin it...
Poison. They've got 2 poison on them. We just deal 5 damage in the end.
Oh, perfect. They're dead. Yeah. Nice. Enemy dies to its own existence. Well, that was startling.
It has come to understand the fullness of reality and decided to take a break.
There's card draw. It's kind of interesting though, because draw 2 cards, like if that card draws a battle cry, is that all 2 cards? It's not clear that it's actually +1 card value. In fact, it's neutral card value because it's a 2 cost itself. I'm not sure that that does anything.
I suspect it is an inversion of 2 blue for an extra card. Like, I have to imagine that they can't muddle the word card to still mean 2 cards in a single instance on screen. That's just, it plays too much against like ingrained things that people know about certain playing objects like dice and cards and things like that.
Let's take it. This is the best way to know exactly how it works is to select the device. Plus, if it said draw 2 cards and your first card drawn was a 1 cost and then your second was a 2 cost, what do you do now?
Exactly. Right. It creates weird edge cases.
You have to crash the game. Yeah. There's no other option. Gracefully crash. Start over. Spirit of Temperance.
A pickup for us. The Spirit of Temperance is going to give us 12 HP at the beginning of every battle.
Oh, wow. 12? That's kind of a lot.
Deeply generous of you.
Deeply generous. No lie.
Yeah.
So where is our relic represented?
Just behind us, they're hanging out. Sup, bud? It might be not necessarily a relic as much as like a single effect that then gets replaced by other spirits, possibly.
Oh, okay.
Just given its prominence on the battlefield and the fact that it's like spirit of X.
I do like that it's hanging out behind us. Got a little totem situation.
All right, let's get ourselves to... Yep, it drews the 1 and then the 3. Ooh.
Wow, and there it is, the punishment right there. And that's 3/5 of the way to a dead ghoul.
Never
Yummy,
punished.
says ghoul. Dying. Why did it not flip anything?
I think randomly it decided to flip all of them again. Because it was, to pay for it, I had to flip all of them, and then it has revert. So randomly it chooses to flip steals.
Okay.
Bleeding is HP value, but you lose it on trigger of playing a card. I don't think we care about that much. That's not a problem for us.
I'm not too worried about it, right? I'm with you. Do we have...
Guess we just deal some damage.
Yeah, there's not a lot of attacking happening here, so yeah, maybe we just bash. Exactly.
You're indigestible. Wow. No one's ever said that to me before.
I'm kind of flattered.
Thank you. Very kind of you.
Like, you are so deeply nuanced, complex,
and
ultimately strong that I can't digest you.
You are like lactose to me.
And I do not seek for your lactase. I do not want to digest you.
I haven't been down to the store recently to buy milk, so I've been putting whipped cream into my coffee and just diluting it with water. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
But because I'm lactose intolerant, I then have to go have lactase. I'm just like, this is such a heavily compromised coffee. The experience.
You could just drink coffee, dog.
What?
Like,
no. For real? They let you do that? I'm pretty sure that's illegal.
This is like when people are like, I really need to eat salads, so I bought some greens, but I hate everything green. So I bought tons of chicken, and then I doused it all in ranch, and then I deep fried it, and I put it in my ice cream, but I ate salad. And it's like, well, you could call it a salad. I guess that's true.
It seems like there's another approach here that might have worked.
When I was in New Orleans, I ordered a crawfish remoulade salad, and a remoulade is like a cream sauce.
Yep.
And I was like, I didn't even really understood what that meant. It was like a layer of greens that just then had a pile of creamy sauce and crawfish on top. And I was like, okay, So it's a crawfish remoulade that you put green things underneath, right? Like, let's be clear about what this is. It was awesome, though. It was really good.
I can't imagine it wouldn't have been. My God.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that
Which
a
of these
heal?
do we think is most wholesome? We do have the ability to heal here. Maximum up
rare.
to the maximum armor limit. So we would be able to heal up to 20 per fight.
That's cool.
I like that the you know, because you can play around with what your opponent is doing, so there are a little bit demonstrated here of inbuilt mechanics to try and force you to move on
now,
after.
Hold up. Do you think that's limiting your total healing, or do you think that that is saying that it will heal including gaining back armor?
Oh, I don't know. Should we find out?
We need to science that. Heal is usually a very breakable thing in games.
Mm-hmm.
This is an interesting view we've got. Can't see much from here, but it sounds nice.
Oh, we have full control over it. Yeah. Okay, never mind. This has been my bad the entire time. We can center the camera such that we can actually see it in kind of perspective fashion as well. Okay.
Did you ever play The Legend of Keepers? That like dungeon management hee ha ha where the bad guys building the dungeon game? You know what I'm talking about?
We did.
Oh yeah, we played it together. That's right. It's been 6,000 years. Do you remember that the sounds of the screaming damned are included in music?
I do not know. That would be similar to the
game. There is a specific setting for atmosphere, and the screaming damned, they ain't in it. They're in the music tab. It's amazing, man. It's like, yeah, well, I mean,
did they do that in the Crimson Courtyard as well with the buzzing of the flies?
Oh, I don't know if they. That might have still been the era where there were two settings, music and game sounds, and that might have just been. I don't know. I don't know where that would have been. Yeah, yeah. They started adding more tabs, right?
You know, it looks pretty breakable here. Flip a card, deal 1 damage, and also, deal 5 damage, draw 1 card, and flip.
Yep, I like it.
I like it.
That looks like a quick slash to me. No, that actually, yeah, that's free. It's very hard for me to think of cost in this game. It does not have a traditional mana system, does it?
Not traditionally, no, because there is not a central pool from which we are paying these resources. They are ever present, evergreen, so long as we can set ourselves up to be able to access them. And
it's all about balance.
I'm really excited to see different conceptions of mana included in Deckbuilder roguelikes, because
I agree.
We've seen one consistently, and we've seen different variations on it.
3 mana, 1 type. Yeah, we've seen it, right? Agreed.
I don't have an immediate drive for any of the rest of these necessarily.
I'm good. I'm definitely hitting that point where I'm like, even on my first run, I might start skipping some so that we can actually, we want to actually play the cards that we have, right?
Interesting. So I wonder if I went to this, I'm not going to be able to ascend again, I imagine. Would I then have to continue down to this? So am I choosing effectively the entire time the full future path, not just the selection between the 3? Because it's a little obscured by the ring system at the moment.
That's an individual.
Remember. This dude referencing the 5th of November? What's up? Excuse me?
What? It's Gunnery Demon. Are they wearing an IV bag as a headdress?
Oh. Yes. Why?
That's a nice look. That's very modern. Chic couture Gunnery
I'll admit,
Demon.
I've never seen. I would not be able to call it what, imitative but bad. I've completely just blanked on a word. That's fine. It happens from time to time.
Imitate. Mimic.
I think it starts with D.
That's all, folks. I don't have any clues.
I'm sorry, I don't have clues to give you.
Okay.
I've forgotten all words. Okay, perfect. Now we have the ability to heal, to flip these 2, and punish.
Nice.
Yeah, the gunpowder treason and plot. I know no reason the gunpowder treason should ever be forgotten.
So why is that the reference that this enemy is making?
No clue. I'm trying to find some visual clues outside of just them having a cannon.
So something that's been interesting to me so far is you've got this enemy attack system, right? And we have had 1 or 2 turns to where we've specifically said we do or we don't want to flip or we want to end on this. But as a general rule, it has felt like the best play we can make is the play that plays all our cards.
Yes.
You know? And so that's kind of an interesting tension to where it's like, yeah, I do think that there's actually this system of tactical nuance with the enemy's attack, but it's mostly just been about figuring out the order and the deck construction.
I think like ultimately, at least if the trajectory that I have in mind holds, you will end up in the situation where you have to make the call between like the full optimization of this or where I leave it.
Right.
How far can I push? And that'll be the central
tension. How far
tension.
can I push? Can I deal with more buffs and debuffs? Can I deal with the damage? Yeah.
So they
the
have
teeter-totter
shielded
of value
as an effect here, which just prevents all incoming damage from the next attack.
Wow.
So they get that with the red here.
Okay, so they do get poison there still. That's good.
And then we can flip it back and give them the crushing blow.
Okay, so actually here's something right here before you click this.
Yes.
This is one of the first moments where we do have choice, because whichever of the blue steel you bash, then when we use crushing blow, that's the one that gets flipped back. I guess then they're all blue at the end before the riposte, so it doesn't matter in this case. But if crushing blow were our last hit, we would want to remember what's on the other side of the revert and what's on the other side of the 8 damage. Would we rather keep it revert? You see what I'm saying?
I do. The difficulty that's inherent here is the revert randomly. So, like, if we want to have control, surely we want to revert early. But then if it comes back to revert, am I just going to revert into nothing to, like...
Right. This time we're actually stuck, aren't we? But I like seeing, you know, the lattice is closing in when I realize that there's actually a choice here. We still play the cards, but there is a distinction between bashing the damage and bashing the revert.
Yes.
It just turns out that this is a, like, if it's false, it's true situation.
I think we end here.
We could riposte the revert.
We very much could, but them dealing 8 damage to our 20 armor and gaining 5 armor themselves might be the best thing they can do. The opposite side of this is gain shielded, preventing our next attack's worth of damage. And the other side of this, I forgot.
That's why I'm saying riposte the revert, so that they don't revert the other stuff, right?
I totally forgot that we're not activating the revert by doing that. It slipped my mind somehow.
Because it's getting complex now. I mean, it is as I start to look closer at it. Nice. I think we got the optimal outcome on that turn.
Yes.
Or at least it felt that it was within some realm of optimality. Like it was safe and strong. The armor is a bit annoying, but at least we have some poison, right? Divine Strike. It's the perfect time for it. Look at that.
It's so good.
Holy diver.
Give him a wee bit of that.
You can see his IV bag, so you know he's mean.
Take those with you if you could. See you in hell.
Dead.
Oh, wait. See you in deeper hell?
Do you want to behemoth?
Gain armor points equal to your armor smith value at the start of the turn, then the value is decreased by 1. As I may have expected, but that's still cool. I like it.
Still, it's fun, and I'm enjoying just making our deck kind of hard to play by adding a bunch of massive steel cost cards. It makes it interesting, and it has been fun. Yeah, it seems like our path is selected. What do we have here? Wow. Oh no, Jabba's butler. Take 2. More headdress.
I think they were speaking backwards.
What's repentance?
Repentance is draw 1 repentance to your draw pile, creates 1 repentance, and then adds. So they'll do it on the inverted version of that. They said that before. Or on Divine Intervention, it said like that. They will then stay in your deck until the end of battle. So I don't know what a repentance card is. It'd be nice to see, another tooltip tell about those, but again, happens at other times of the game. Yeah, I mean, we could.
I don't
let
want a lot
them
of
give it to
repentance,
us.
but I also don't want a lot of poison. This fight feels like it's kind of a if you stay here you will die situation.
Yes. The health bar certainly makes me agree with that as well. I'm gonna throw both of those. How dare you to high... I'm not gonna be able to read it backwards in time.
The good news is these edge ones are just damage. So as long as we can end on blue steel, we'll be fairly safe in avoiding repentance, although part of me wants to see one to see how bad it is, right? Oh wow, 9 damage. That's really quite a lot.
It is
maybe the poison ain't so bad.
Yeah, I think we'll take the poison here because the poison still does decrement once per round, and we have 12 healing at the start of fight as well as an in-game heal. So.
Yep. They started with some armor, but they don't have any mechanism by which they can gain armor. They're full offense. They have a full row of damage and 2 repentance and a poison. So it's interesting. They lit our heal on fire. What that means?
No, that seems to be just that it was activated in our hand again.
Okay.
It's the same as the others, at least as far as I can see. So we have the Divine Intervention to flip 2, and then Valor to flip 1 back. Should we start with Revelation?
Yes. I'm with it.
Ooh,
punishment. Let's set it up.
Oh, no. So we actually set this up not with the reflexes, which will revert, unfortunately, on its play, but Rage somewhere else and then play a 2 cost, giving us the ability to punish.
Yep. Nice. And then it stays red, which lets us play the Divine Intervention cards. Perfect.
Yes.
And then we actually play the whole hand. Punishment.
Get him!
Did we just win? Am I just winning right now?
Oh my god, yeah, we did.
Oh my
Wait,
god.
hang on.
It's pretty close.
Not... so I mistook this for damage for a second. So we'd flip this and then flip it back with the... no, because that's the reflex. So we just flip this and then we allow them to deal us the 2 damage. We've got blocks for both of the hits. Unless we want to just take the unblockable, the repentance now, because it doesn't matter to us. Possibly.
We could, and just to try to see what it is. I mean, it seems, if this were an optimality situation, reflexes on the poison is great, right? Because we get blur for the damage. But I would be interested to see a repentance.
Okay. Show us what it is.
What does it do? That's such a big hairdo.
You gotta get a glam metal backband for that, like.
No lie. Repentance. Suffer 5 damage. Okay, so it's a curse. It is a curse, and you have to play it, or it sticks around, blocking your draw.
So they're even more immediately damaging. Wow, we don't have the ability
to kill them. Yeah. Yeah, because we blocked. I mean, between the repentance and the reflexes. Well, we'll just start slam-a-jamming some cards, I guess. Hey, block is nice, but then we have to get back to damage Mo. But we have repentance to do that. So we all right. Is this the turn to time spin?
Yeah, we get time spin.
So that reverts everything. Okay.
I wonder if at random is not the case, because every single time I've seen so far, it's inverted everything.
Right, and that would make sense for time spin. Well, but it didn't revert the one we played on. Okay. Something strange. Yeah, I don't...
It's possible we are experiencing variance.
Small N. Yeah, exactly.
15 breaking damage. It's only applied to armor, so it's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
But it'll disappear pretty quickly in terms of effect.
Yeah, and we're already getting to the point where we're frequently in a position where we're kind of overtaxed on the steals. I don't know, man.
I could skip these.
I wouldn't mind some weak. Like, maybe knockdown ain't bad. And that's damage in blue. That's kind of rare.
Sure, let's do it. I'm more than happy to.
I like adding cards.
A merchant who's more than willing to trade a moment of respite to regain some of the lost HP. Well, our next battle begins us on full HP now, so this also appears to be our final shop.
Mm-hmm. I'm good. I'm good. I'm alright.
Yeah, so am I. Perhaps I could see a righteous armor in a world where we have the money for it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, it'll let us go to the respite as well. Sure, give me some HP.
I'm wondering, are there sales? Have you noticed anything being on sale on any of the previous merchants?
So that one that was in the hand burning position in front of that flame, in a previous shop, I thought that might be on sale, but here it was 500 for that. So
500, yeah.
Either the base cost is very high or that's not a sale position.
Right, exactly.
Elite combat, fight a powerful demon.
Nice.
Cerebus.
Oh, and we have to go through 9 rings. That's a look. Yeah. Oh, look at the background too, with the hands coming out of the flesh mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes. Yeah.
I think I read many graphic novels that look almost exactly like very in the vibe.
Yeah.
Okay.
70 life, 40 armor base, counter damage, poison, and it's 3 poison. If they have another poison, that's gonna get spooky.
What if we were
Armor smith,
big
all
armor
of it.
boys?
What's precise?
It will 100% of the time score a critical hit with its next attack. It doesn't define critical hits, but we assume they're 2 times damage by base.
Okay.
Should we exploit that away? And then divine intervene?
I like exploit here, yeah, and then keep it going. Yeah, I like the cycling.
Okay.
And we certainly want to be pushing damage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to see what all these flippity dippities are.
Mm-hmm.
8 damage, 2 precise, 2 counter. I didn't see more than 1 poison though, so they can't do more than 3 poison around, it looked like, unless there was one over on the right that I missed.
Oh, sorry, I was talking across definitions there. You're referring to the steals at the top. I was referring to the HP of the enemy.
Yes, yeah, no, I'm referring to what the cards do, because I'm confident at this point that enemies have 6 moves, and they'll use 3 of them every turn, and that's deterministic. So you can quickly decide what's on both sides of the cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I was looking to see was, is there more than 1 poison applicator? Is that something we have to worry about scaling out of control? But there's not. There's just the 1. The counter is going to be a bear.
Yeah,
that's
going to be a bit of an issue for us. Thankfully, we will be regenerating 6, 5 dependent. Really, I guess how many times we end up playing it.
Prevents all of our damage, right? Like we often don't have more than 2 attacks in a turn.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we can.
I kind of feel like that's what this fight is. You have to figure out, because they have precise, so they can do big burst. They have counter, they have poison. And what it's asking you is to figure out what is the thing that you can't deal with and avoid it. For us, it really might be counter. It really might be making sure that right one ends on blue steel every time.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything else, I think we can stomach.
I think we're totally fine with that as well.
Stomach, by the way, is a word that I thought of because I'm pretty sure that our enemy is a series of colons.
They actually kind of look like they are like tapeworms that have expanded out of someone's colon and completely taken over the host body.
That's better.
They're like a rat king of tapeworms. Tape king? I'm sorry to have given you that mental image. I apologize.
That's horrible. The Tape King. That's not a Disney movie that I think made it past the storybook room.
It made it there, which was concerning in the first instance, but it didn't make it past.
Hear me out. Okay. It's just like a Rat King, but it's made out of horrible parasites.
Where's my bag of money?
We're making progress though. We've busted through that. This fight was like, hey, did you take any of those cards that said breaking damage? No. Do you wish you had? Well,
I love when I can feel a fight's smug voice. You didn't take any damage, did you? Shame if a Lagavulin Let's revert away from your poison, get some damn gut up.
Damn good. Boy. Oh, rage and then do more dumg.
I like that.
Nice.
And then we can flip
And
their
then get counter out.
They will keep precise, and precise will immediately activate. Hang on, do we want that?
But what's the thing on the right, usually? Is it just
On
another
the
attack, but it's
right
smaller?
behind counter is another attack, so they'll immediately crit with the secondary attack.
But we'll live, and then
it
we'll
is
win.
Smaller. It's like 5, I think. No, it's 8. Never mind. It's totally big. It's huge. It's gigantic.
That's a giant attack that I should have committed to memory. Had I been paying attention.
Oof.
Ooh, it's gonna feel bad when the Tape King hits us. All right. But we're alive.
Thankfully, we can punish them. They have a single stack of precise, so we can flip that, get the counter online, and then punish them for daring attempt.
Oh no! But
it reverted. Oh boy!
Punishment always does that. It always just all stays red, which is probably why it's called punishment. Come to think about it,
I was really hoping
that's punished.
this would work.
As I see it now, it was in fact us in the end who was punished. It's too bad because if we could land a counter right now, we would actually win. Do we have a counter up?
We have a counter up.
Then we win.
I don't think we do because the poison deals 2 damage to us before. We don't have blur.
Is a counter not a full
start of turn?
Is a counter not a full reversal of damage?
No, a counter, you take the damage, you just reverse it, or rather, you hit back with half.
Okay.
Wow, there's actually like 2 hit points in the difference between us winning and losing here.
Wow, freaking! That was great. That's kind of hard.
It was a good time. I'm excited to see the direction in which this develops. It's got such a strong visual style.
It really is, and I've got that like drive, because this is always a good sign for me when this happened with Backpack Hero last time, to where I'm like pretending that I'm recording the video with you while I go and install the game on the side, right? I've got the itch.io page up, and I'm like, I'm definitely not putting things in my backpack right now while we're collaborating on this video. I definitely would not do that. And I had that drive with Nadir right there at the end, where I was like, I got to go again, because I think a refined deck does matter. That was my immediate inclination in this fight. I think a refined deck does matter. I think having a direction is important here, because just playing a lot of cards that seemed good is not working there, right? They just stack up too many effects and they do too much damage.
Yes, I think the specific thing there, like I think we get across the line in the world where the revert doesn't just immediately flip all of them back, but it does in that instance, it seems like there is a lot more play in the world of knowing what is setting up to the final execution and what might come after it.
Right.
But again, that comes with experience, as you might expect. They have a thanks on here. We hope you liked the demo and enjoyed your time here. If you already tried out all of the different choices you can make during the demo, be sure to get the full game when it's out and try all the characters and their abilities on their journey to the bottom of hell.
Add it to your wish list. Is wish listing really that effective for developers? I've noticed it's
extremely.
Every promoter is also like wish listing games. They even do sponsorships where they're like, we don't need you to sell the game, we just need you to get people to wish list the game.
Yep.
It really is that big of a difference, huh?
Yeah, it's fundamental for Steam's internal recommendation systems.
I see.
And I believe there are also thresholds that, like, I believe some publishers also use thresholds of recommendations, wish lists, as ways to determine what projects to invest in.
I see.
It becomes a metric on both sides of the community.
Kickstarter. That's weird. That's funky. That game was fantastic. I'm glad we checked it out. I really enjoyed just the puzzle of the combat system, actually. It was refreshingly different. You know, like I said, I saw elements. We're still Dominion. You know, it's been a decade and a half now or whatever, and we're still 5-card hand in a reshuffled deck. Because it works. It's been effective. It's within our short-term memory. We can look at that hand and conceptualize it. And I don't think that you need to change every element. So 5-card hand makes sense. But switching from a strict mana system to this interesting resource management system that's also interplaying with the enemy attacks, that's really nice. It's a brilliant concept.
A thing that sits with me is I wonder, because obviously there's more characters in the game. There's, you know, more cards, things that we wouldn't have encountered. I wonder what the extensibility of that system is.
Right.
I wonder, and don't yet know. But for the moment,
someday we might.
That's been Nadir. My name's been Rhaps. His name's been Teak. This is Rhaps and Teak take a peek. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourselves. There's a playlist in the description
back, baby.
down below or on the screen for all of this, past, present, future. We are back. The boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. Actually, guess who just got back today?
What is his name? Was it Thin Lizzy? Is Thin Lizzy back?
Thin Lizzy,
yeah. Yeah. How does that song go next?
Just them wild-eyed boys, what had been away?
Yeah, okay, yeah. You see, I should know this because I have a friend that this is what they would play every time we ever got together at every instance. We'd be sitting at the dinner table and he'd pull his phone out and start. But back in. It's like, it started getting annoying. I was like, okay, I get it. The boys are back in. This is us, the boys.
Not that many friendships have a theme song. There's
true.
value
to
that.
That's special. That's true. That is a special. Anyway, these boys is back and they playing games. So I was glad to be here. Thanks for joining me, Rhaps.
And we'll catch you in a couple weeks' time.
Doses.